Diets. They are a test of willpower to change what you consume on a daily basis. They can range from fairly minor things, like maybe cutting out a specific ingredient, to more drastic things, like cutting out any and all animal products. With the hyperconnectivity provided by the internet, we have seen a plethora of diets over the years. However, one diet has caught my attention, and that would be the carnivore diet. Prior to fairly recently, the only source I had seen using the carnivore diet was the Liver King. However, I've discovered someone who appears to be a pillar for the carnivore community. She is by no means new to the scene, and I am not the first person to talk about her. However, I'm going to talk about her. Her name is Steak and Butter Gal. She is a content creator present on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. For the purposes of today's video, I'm going to be looking at her TikTok specifically. However, before we get started, let's take a look at the description she provides on her profile. It is merely one sentence: ex-vegan turned carnivore. Now, I find that quite interesting. This isn't the first time we have seen a vegan transform their diet into something completely opposite to the paradigm of veganism. Not exactly the best look for the vegan community. But going back to the matter at hand. The carnivore diet, for any who may be unaware, is a diet that subsists entirely on meat and animal byproducts such as eggs and butter. So, now that everyone's on the same page, let me show you the diet of Steak and Butter Gal. Quick little disclaimer here. I am not a nutritionist or a doctor. Everything I am speaking comes from Google and prior knowledge.
Here's what I eat for breakfast as a high-fat 5-year carnivore, and I have not had a single cystic acne breakout in 4 years. My skin used to look like this when I used to eat plants, fruits, and carbs. I also used to look like this, bloated and puffy 24/7 eating plants and carbs, and now I have zero bloat.
Which makes sense. Cutting out sugars and carbohydrates, along with introducing higher quantities of omega-3 fatty acids found in these proteins, would result in better skin quality and reduced inflammation across the body. However, these changes do not require you to go to an extreme diet such as the carnivore one. You can augment your diet without creating such extreme restrictions.
And can eat as much as I want. So let's go through what I am eating for breakfast today. Here I've got some wild-caught shrimp that I flash boiled. Here I just have some cut up chuck steak. I got it for $4.99 a pound on sale. I just cut it up into bite-sized pieces and seared it on a hot pan. And my third choice of meat right here is just some pasture-raised chicken wings that I baked at 380 degrees for 45 minutes.
Yes, I am aware of that butter on the fork. We will get to that shortly. However, before we talk about the butter, one of the detriments, extreme detriments, that is not even health related for the carnivore diet is the lack of seasoning. Since most seasonings happen to be plants, they get cut out with the carnivore diet. Although, you could at least use salt, just plain unseasoned meat. That is so incredibly bland. I will say, if you are actually following the meals that she does, your willpower is commendable. I salute you. Now, I am going to let the rest of this clip play its course before I talk about the butter.
And of course, we can't forget about my butter. I got it straight out of the fridge, it's chilled, and I eat it as a fat side.
Yep, you saw that right. She took a chomp out of that butter. I don't know if any of you have tried taking a bite out of butter before, because I have. When I was younger, my cousin decided to take a bite out of a stick of butter, because she's weird, I suppose. However, I was curious and followed suit. That was a mistake. The sensation of biting into butter is most unpleasant, to say the least. And the taste is not good in any dimension. 0 out of 10. I would not advise eating raw butter. But the experience of eating butter aside, we have to now look at it from a health perspective. She mentioned she is 5 years into being a high-fat carnivore, likely high-fat purely because she just eats butter. And that, very obviously, is atrocious for your health. Yes, in the short term, you may experience benefits. However, in the long term, and I mean long term, 5 years is not long term for a diet. Lifestyle diets, long term, I would say, is perhaps about 20 plus, maybe even 30 plus. By consuming such high amounts of fat on a regular, daily basis, your cholesterol will go through the roof and your risks of heart disease, it's no longer a risk. It is a guarantee. However, the problems extend beyond just the nutrition. Let me show you Exhibit B.
Why don't I use any salt or seasonings? It's just how I like my steak. I love the flavor of plain meat, and because I like my steak so rare, the flavor is so delicious.
You hear that? That's the sound of your steak mooing. That's not rare, that's alive. Promoting a carnivore diet is one thing. However, promoting people to eat raw meat, that is irresponsible. Especially because there seems to be a very large elderly population who has subscribed to her beliefs over on YouTube. And these foodborne illnesses that are carried by uncooked meat are especially dangerous for the very young and the very old. While people are well within their right to choose what and how they eat food, as a content creator, you should not be encouraging such hazardous behavior without at least providing a warning to the possible dangers. Also, going back to that clip we just watched, saying that you enjoy the flavor of nigh raw, unseasoned meat, yeah, I don't believe that.
I eat this $5 carnivore ingredient every single day.
Oh boy, she's promoting eating raw meat once more. I can't even imagine eating raw meat. Whenever I eat food, the biggest thing that turns me off to something is usually the texture more than the taste. And raw meat is definitely a no-go texture.
And it's called ground beef. Ground beef and eggs keep carnivore diet budget friendly, and they definitely give you the biggest bang for your buck. It is delicious.
Excuse me? Budget? You used almost a dozen eggs for one meal. In what dimension is that budget? Also, that is a lot of egg to eat in one meal. Whenever I make scrambled eggs, I may use like 3 or 4 of the larger eggs, and then just have 2 slices of toast, and that's enough to satiate me for a meal. I feel it would be hard to actually get down all of that egg, especially when you consider how there is absolutely 0 seasoning and 0 salt.
It's nutrient dense, and you can enjoy it in so many different ways. Just a couple of meal ideas with just these 2 carnivore ingredients: ground beef burger patties with butter on top, poached eggs in butter, fatty buttery egg omelet, ground beef meatball soup.
I ain't ever tried ground beef meatball soup, and I don't think I ever will. Honestly, looks like some kind of fake vomit that we would see kids in a TV show using to get out of school.
Delicious egg pudding. To keep my meals high fat, I always supplement with some type of chilled animal fat, either chilled butter straight out of the fridge or cold suet chunks, which is basically raw beef fat.
Oh, and now she's not just eating butter, but just raw fat. How lovely. I'm gonna skip the rest of her self-promoing and give you the wonderful clip of more butter eating.
My free archive of carnivore recipes.
Yep, no matter how many times I watch her bite into that stick of butter, it still pains my soul. So let's see her do it some more.
Let's talk raw unpasteurized butter. I can eat it all day, every day, and I can only get it in California where it's legal. I get it at Sprouts or Bristol Farms. As you can see, the nutrient density is ideal. The enzymes are still alive. The flavor and aroma is unbeatable. Have you guys tried raw butter yet?
No, I have not tried unpasteurized butter yet, and I shall not in the future. I can't make any claims to the taste and aroma of unpasteurized butter being better than pasteurized butter. However, I have seen some information regarding the nutritional value, and that is that there is no substantial change in the nutritional value before and after pasteurization. Some people continuously argue to the contrary. However, there has not been a single peer-reviewed study that supports that claim. Additionally, in the clip, she claims she can only buy unpasteurized raw butter in California. That is false. You can buy unpasteurized butter in most of the United States. Here is a map I found highlighting where you can buy unpasteurized butter. There are only 4 states in which it is illegal, so I have no idea what she is talking about here. But alas, we may never know. And while we may never know about that, we do know for a fact her cholesterol is going to be through the roof, and she will develop heart disease in the future, along with the many unfortunate souls who are following the carnivore high-fat regimen. If by some chance anyone watching the video at this point is subscribed to the carnivore diet, specifically the high-fat variant, I would implore you to look for alternatives. No extreme diet is your one and only answer to how to properly eat. Everything is about balance. Excess is never good. Regardless of what it is, there is a point in which you are consuming too much of something. But at the end of the day, I can't tell people how to live their life. If they want to make bad dietary choices, that is their prerogative. However, if they want to be here for a short time, at least make it a good time. Open yourself up to seasoning. It'll make your food significantly more enjoyable. But that's all I have for today. Before we go, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers. We're nearly at the triple digits. I'm honestly surprised that many people have tuned in to listen to me ramble. Now, if you like the video, leave a like. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike. On your way out, you'll see that funny little subscribe button. It's shaped like a stick of butter. Now go and chomp that butter. I know you want to. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. If it's not, have a wonderful day. Bye.